Welcome to Real Talk with Miss Brenda. I'm Miss Brenda, and today I have one of my favorite people. I know you think they're all her favorite, and they are, but this one is really a favorite. It's Rebecca Wailing, and Rebecca has been with us a few times, and she is in great shape today, and I'm so glad to have her. Okay, Rebecca, why don't you tell us? I want to know, before we start on anything, I want to know a little bit about your childhood, how you were raised. Tell me some of that.
So when I was a child, me and my brother were in foster care, and my grandmother had got custody of us.
How old were you when you got out of foster care?
I was probably in the 4th grade.
So from little to the 4th grade, you stayed in foster care?
Yes, ma'am.
The system. Mm-hmm. What kind of houses did you live in?
I lived in one in the town that we lived in. It was in Morrison. It was just a little children's home, and then it shut down, and then they moved us.
So it wasn't a horrible childhood, but your grandmother got you.
She did.
So she finished raising you.
She did.
How was that?
She did great. She was a single grandmother raising us. She did her best. She worked at Carrier, and so
Well, when did you take that hard left turn?
I kind of dabbled in it, when I was in my teens, and then I got pregnant with...
Dabbled in what?
In drugs. I did ice for the first time, and then I ended up getting pregnant with Sebastian.
Ice means
Meth.
methamphetamines.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, how long did you do that?
Not very long, a couple months.
And then you got pregnant?
I did.
With Sebastian?
Yes, ma'am.
How old were you?
I was 19. I got pregnant with him when I was 20. So, yeah.
And did you still live with your grandmother?
I did.
She upset?
Absolutely.
So you had Sebastian?
I did.
And tell us what happened then.
I got with his dad, and then things kind of went south. They
were already south. They went further.
It just went a little
They
further.
went right on to Cuba.
Yeah, it just went a little further. He had met someone else, and then we split up, and then I moved back in with my grandmother and went at it again.
Did you raise Sebastian?
I did.
When you moved out with the father, did you take Sebastian with you?
Absolutely.
So you were a single mother.
I was.
Working?
I was working.
Trying to live a normal life?
Trying to.
Doing meth pretty often?
No, not when I was not after I had Bastion. I kind of fell when me and his dad split up. That's kind of...
How old were you then?
I was 22.
So you raised Sebastian sort of normal till you were 22. Mm-hmm. Then what happened?
And then I fell again, and then his dad kind of jumped in and took care of Sebastian so I could go to a 90-day program. And then, yeah.
He did. So his dad was doing good.
His dad was not a drug addict. It was just me. His dad was a very good man.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
I never knew that.
Yeah. His dad's a very good man. He works hard, came from a good family, and here I came along.
Well, how about that?
Yeah.
Are you still in touch with his dad today?
Not really. No.
Sebastian is.
So, yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, life doesn't seem great, and you were pregnant, and you made a few mistakes, but it doesn't seem... You went to a rehab.
I did.
For 90 days, which 90-day rehabs really, I personally think you have to have a great deal longer. But let's talk about it. How'd that go?
I did great. I stayed clean 13 years after that.
Well, that was great.
Yeah.
Sounds like that just knocked you. That's good.
It did.
So you raised Sebastian till he was about 13 years, 14 years old.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, where is this Rebecca that I know? I mean, really?
Well, yeah. Well, in the midst of that, I met someone else that I went to high school with, and we had a child together. And then I stayed clean 13 years, and then...
Another one?
I do have 2 children.
Okay.
Yes. And so things just went, how they go. relationships start going bad, and then what do? We medicate. So I would medicate. I was one of these girls that self-medicated, kind of a closet user.
Self-medicated.
I did, and at that time when I was clean for 13 years, I wasn't doing ice. I had picked up a pain pill addiction and alcohol.
So in the 13 years when you said you were doing good, you were really doing pain pills.
No, I didn't do that till after I relapsed.
After?
Yes, ma'am. I was clean 13 years from everything. And then things happened with me and my youngest son's dad, and so I started picking up pain pills and alcohol.
Pain pills and alcohol.
Yes, ma'am.
And what happened?
Well,
Yeah.
well, me and my youngest son, dad, we split up, and I took Bastion with me and left my youngest son with Ron because that's how it worked out.
Is he still with?
My youngest son is still with his dad. Yes, ma'am.
Are you in touch with him?
No, ma'am. I haven't seen him since 2019. Yes. The last thing he said was, "Mom, me and Dad moved on. You should too."
Said what?
He said, my youngest son said, "Dad, Mom, me and Dad moved on. You should too." And so, and I get that.
How old was he?
He was 12.
And he told you to move on.
Yes, ma'am.
He was sick of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's okay.
But it's okay. I mean, you know, and I had one thing about it, Miss Brenda. I was an addict, and even though we make bad mistakes, I had amazing fathers that were not addicts. They worked hard on their own businesses, were really great men. I just had issues for myself that, you know, I guess I needed to deal with before I jumped in relationships, but I ended up having children, and here I am.
So, when did you go where, what I know?
Yeah, COVID hit. I was actually working in the medical department at the Love Lady. I had moved back in 2000.
Okay, why had you been at the Love Lady?
Because I picked up some charges in 2015.
Okay, let's we're sounding a little bit different than what. So why before COVID
Yes, ma'am.
you got arrested?
Oh yeah, you mean what? How did I end up at the Love Lady?
Yeah.
Okay, so after me and my youngest son's dad split up, me and Bastion had moved out, and then I'd got on drugs then. I had took Sebastian to his dad, and I got mixed around with the wrong people, and next thing I know, I was...
You took Sebastian to his dad?
I did.
So you knew you were fixing to hit the road?
Absolutely.
You were ready to go out and...
I mean, I was already in addiction at that time. I just knew that I had no money, no way to support him or myself. So I'd called his dad and I said, "Look, Sebastian's better than living in a car. I'm not going to live in this car with my child." And so I took him to his dad, and
How was that?
it was horrible.
How did you feel doing that?
It was horrible
But you wanted drugs more than you wanted to be a mother.
at that time.
I mean, you know, the name of this thing is Real Talk.
Yeah,
And
and that's
you knew
true.
that. So you made a conscientious decision. You wanted to do drugs.
I did.
How much were you doing?
However much I could. However much they had, you know.
What were you doing?
Everything, ice,
Pills?
yes ma'am, drinking. Yeah, anything anybody had, I wanted that and then some.
Were you still living in your car?
I was until it got repoed because I took a loan out against it to get high.
So you lost your car.
I did.
You had nothing.
Nothing.
And you came back, you came to the Love Lady Center for the first time.
Yes, ma'am, after I got arrested. I was looking at 25 in federal for the charges that I took.
You were looking at what?
25 years in federal.
Oh, but you did something.
I did.
What?
I
Well,
was-
they don't just arbitrarily give you 25 years. What caused you to get 25 years?
I was with some people, and we ran from the cops. And when they called us, they took us back and charged me with everything that was in that vehicle because I pled guilty to everything.
Guns?
There was no guns. It was just attempt to manufacture a roll of meth lab, theft of property.
Was there a
destruction.
meth lab in the car?
I didn't know that there was, Miss Brenda.
You really didn't?
I really didn't.
But there was.
There was.
So you got charged with manufacturing
I did.
federally.
Yes.
What else?
Theft of property, destruction of property. I mean, just a lot of stuff. Because we ran, and of course, running from the cops.
You ran from the cops or the
I did.
feds. Were the feds after you?
No. It was. I had no idea why I was even charged with any of that stuff. I was so messed up that I didn't even really know my charges until I graduated the program and went back home and saw the paperwork. I had no idea what I really done. I was so out of it.
How long had you been doing drugs right then?
Maybe 2 months. Not long at all. I had a very short.
Boy, you dropped Sebastian off and went at it, didn't you?
I did.
You were trying to ease that pain from getting rid of your son.
That and everything, just being with somebody for that long period of time, and
Well, you know, a lot of people go through divorce and all, and they don't go and do drugs. You can't really blame it on that.
no, absolutely not. It wasn't that. I never married him. We were just together for that long. Yes, ma'am.
So, how long were you in jail?
A little over a month.
And then they sent you to us.
Actually, I thought I was going to Blue Monarch.
To where?
A rehab called Blue Monarch. I'd filled out paperwork and everything. And next thing I know, I went to little court on Tuesday, big court on Wednesday, and he was coming to get me. My youngest son's dad was coming to get me.
And take you to Bluemont?
I thought that's where I was going, but he was taking me to Birmingham.
Where is Bluemont?
At Blue Monarch, some rehab not far from where I'm from,
Where you from?
Tennessee. Yes, ma'am.
Never heard of it. But God had another plan. He sent you to the Love Lady.
He did.
What did you think when you hit us?
I was like, oh my gosh.
What in the world has happened to me?
I did. I looked at Ron and I said, please take me back to jail. I did. I got out and I was like, oh my gosh, where am I at? But yeah.
We scared you to death?
Yeah, well, just the area. I've never been really out of Tennessee. So when I got to Alabama and saw the area, I was like, oh my gosh, please take me back to jail. But I'm glad I didn't.
So then how long did it take you to get acclimated to the program?
It took a little while.
Had you been raised in church at all?
Yes, ma'am. Of course, when I was younger at the children's home, we went to church. And then when I got older, I started going to church and was saved when I was 16. So, yes, ma'am.
Saved and then went crazy.
I did.
See, it's hard for me to understand that.
Yeah.
But it's not for me to understand. So then you stayed at the Love Lady for how long?
Until 2017.
And then what happened?
I graduated the program, and I went back home, still on paper for probation. And, even though we changed, we go back thinking things are going to be different, and they wasn't. Me and Ron we couldn't be together, and so he met someone else, and I called Miss Melinda and asked her if I could come back. I called my probation officer, and they said, that's fine. I said, I have nowhere to go, but Melinda said I could come back to the Love Lady, and she'd give me a job, and so I transferred my stuff down here and went on staff in 2018 in November.
You were still clean all that time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then what happened?
Then I relapsed in 2018.
Then I just have to keep saying, what happened? What happened? This is like a dentist trying to pull teeth over here.
And then, COVID hit, and then I relapsed in 2020.
2020?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me about that. I think that's the one I'm looking for.
Yeah, well, it was, here we go. I was doing great, walking my anointing, I knew I was listening to God. I heard from God, and all I could hear him say was, take care of my people, and I'll take care of you. And I was like, okay, God, I got this. Next thing you know, he's sending us big checks, because I got unemployment. He gave us extra money, and I was like, great, I can do this, And then I did not hear him.
All that extra money got a lot of people in a lot of trouble.
It did.
I can tell you that right now.
It did. And at that time, I wasn't using it for drugs. I was actually using it to help people. And, of course, Sebastian...
You were using what?
I was using that money to help, like Love Lady Sisters, like some of them didn't get unemployment. So I would go over there to community gardens and get, if there was something that somebody needed, I'd go get it. I was like, because that's what we do, And so then me and Bastion was living with a former Love Lady, and she got drunk and kicked us out of her house because we had moved in her house while she was a traveling nurse. And so I had rented from another Love Lady. And so we rented this house thinking that...
And you're dragging Sebastian around with you the whole time.
I am, yeah. But I was clean and sober. I wasn't in addiction at this time. Still not...
Everybody you were around was getting in addiction.
They were.
Okay.
They were, absolutely.
And that you were enabling them.
I was.
Yeah.
I was. And then it just, I ended up breaking and then started doing it myself.
What'd you start doing?
I started shooting up.
Huh?
I started shooting up ice.
So you skipped ABC, you went straight to...
I went straight.
Down.
Mm-hmm. I did.
Boy, as hyper as you are, you shooting up methamphetamines.
It's crazy.
That was an ugly sight.
It was, because at that time I didn't know.
You were running in place.
Yeah. And at that time I didn't know that they were putting fentanyl in there. And I ended up ODing 3 times in the midst of that. And my son finding me twice. So.
What did you do?
The second time, I had moved on we had moved on First Avenue, and I didn't realize that I had shot up fentanyl. And he was there, and another former Love Lady I let move in with me was there, and a homeless guy that I let moved in. And I know, gets better. And so there was no Narcan there to bring me back to life. And so they beat on me, my son beat on me, and finally I took a breath, and by then, they said it was like 12 minutes later the ambulance got there, and they had me in the back of the ambulance backed in, and they said it poured down rain. And I woke up, and I had already pooped and peed on myself, and Bastion said my lips were blue, I was drawed up, I was gone, there was no pulse. But once again, God had another plan for me, because I woke up in the back of the ambulance. And I was in the back of the ambulance, Miss Brenda, and I looked, and there was a guy standing there, and he had a mustache, and he had a white shirt on. And I thought I was in heaven at this time, because I had no idea. All these people were in this ambulance, and I was scared. I didn't, and God gave me grace once again. And
So what about the man with the mustache?
I don't know. I just thought it was an angel, so they gave me to the hospital. And
Angels don't have mustaches, do they?
I don't know. There's this man in a mustache, and then when I get to the hospital, I looked around the corner, and there was a nurse in there, that same man with a white shirt and a mustache. Once again, I thought I was in heaven or something, because I didn't understand. I never saw that man in my life, nor, what I was going through. I had no idea. It was crazy, Miss Brenda. It was crazy.
So you went to the hospital.
I did.
And you lived.
I did.
Obviously.
That's
one OD. Yeah. Was that the first?
That was the second.
What was the first?
The first was when I lived in this place called the Stabbing Cabin.
The what?
Stabbing Cabin.
Stabbing Cabin.
Yeah, I was escorting my landlord for my rent. That was my first escort. I also was an escort, and so he put me and my son there. And
in the Stabbing Cabin?
They called it the Stabbing Cabin.
And so you were prostituting for you to have a place to live?
Yes, ma'am.
Did Sebastian know it?
He did.
Oh.
I know.
Oh.
I know. I didn't lie to him.
I think I would have lied.
I couldn't.
Why?
Because if something was to happen, he's all like,
I would have protected him and lied.
But I couldn't lie to my son.
I don't understand why parents feel like they have to tell their children the truth about all this nonsense they're doing.
Yeah.
It just gives them so much shame and worry and regret.
Yeah.
And they say, well, I didn't want to lie.
Mm-mm.
What's the problem here? You're prostituting, but you don't want to tell your son a lie? I don't understand that.
Because it was dangerous, because at least I could give him the respect of, if I don't come back, this is where I'm at. He knew, he just knew. That was my son, and you teach him not to lie, so I'm not going to lie to him. I'm going to be honest with him.
But you teach him not to do that other too.
I did. Well, I mean,
It's just a difference in the way we think.
it is.
You know, I think totally different. And you knew that. You know that.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you know what I agree with and I don't.
Yes, ma'am.
So you knew that walking in this place.
I did. But it's okay. You wanted me to be honest, and I'm being honest.
So you lived in the stabbing cabin.
Yeah.
You're prostituting yourself out. And you got your son living there. And by this time, he must have been about 15.
No, he was already 18 when he moved down here.
18.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, Bastion was older than Rhett. Rhett was my 12-year-old.
So he was 18. And you said, Mommy will be back. She's got to go do a quick escort. Is that right?
Pretty much, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now that was the first time. How did you know OD?
I met him through my landlord.
No, how did you OD?
Oh, how
the
did I OD?
first time?
Somebody had brought some drugs in there, and I did it, and
You had fentanyl,
it did.
Narcan.
No, ma'am.
You had no Narcan.
No, ma'am.
You just came back.
I did. The first time somebody had put a wad of ice in my mouth, and that's what brought me back to. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know. It was I know.
But you know what? Our whole point in this is letting people know where you were, and then we're going to talk about where you are. And see, that is what is so wonderful about this. So, when did you move from the stabbing cabin? Why is it stabbing cabin?
I don't know. That's just what he called it.
I don't need to know. People get stabbed there.
I don't even know.
I probably don't need to know.
Yeah.
When everybody's waving their hands telling me, drop it, I'm going to drop it. I don't want to know about it.
No.
I really do, but I'm not going to ask. Okay, so
Yeah.
you moved out of the stabbing cabin. You moved on somewhere else. You OD got taken away in the ambulance.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. Well, the reason I moved out of the stabbing cabin is because I had gotten bitten by a spider, and I'd let it go on, and I didn't think anything was wrong, and I got real sick, and I thought maybe it was bad drugs or something. You know, I had no idea that I'd got an infection, and so I got septic, and it was almost at my heart. And by the time that they got me to the hospital, I was delirious. This whole side of my body was swelled up. I couldn't walk.
You know, I went septic before.
Yeah.
You remember?
Yes, ma'am.
But not from this, but I
Yeah.
went septic from pneumonia, and I almost died. I was in the hospital for a few weeks. I mean, I almost died.
Yes, ma'am.
It's horrible.
It was.
It's very close to death.
It was, and I was super sick. And so they carried me to the hospital. They did emergency surgery. I was at UAB. They kept me for over a month. And I told them right when I got out of surgery, I said, listen, I said, are you sure that's from a spider bite? I said, because I'm a drug addict. I'm a needle junkie. I was honest with these doctors. And, of course, they sent counselors up there to talk to me, and they took very good care of me and didn't judge me at all. So, and they just kind of nursed me back to health.
And so you got well.
I did.
Sebastian came to see you.
They wouldn't really let anybody there, but they did let Susan and somebody else come see me up there. So yeah, but I talk to Sebastian every day.
Okay, so you get out and you OD'd again.
Yeah, they had. Well, while I was in the hospital, they actually moved us from the stabbing cabin to First Avenue. That's how I ended up at First Avenue. Yes, ma'am. And then I stayed.
You got out from all this.
I did.
Almost dying from you OD'd in the stabbing cabin. You got septic when you were in the stabbing cabin, and now you get out. God has redeemed you and given you another chance, and you go out and OD again.
Yes, ma'am.
So you got back on drugs.
I did.
Explain that to me, please.
I don't know. Just
that inner thing.
Well, I mean,
because you are such a wonderful person, and you are not y'all have to know the one I know. She is not what I would call I mean, so far, but let's hear it.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and hear this.
Yeah, so, I mean, I got out, and I didn't immediately fall back in addiction. But then I don't know, Miss Brenda, you just get desperate. I didn't have a job. Like I said, I took in homeless people, and my driver's license, all that stuff come up missing. I would walk to the dollar stores and stuff to ask for a job. Nobody would hire me. I begged them for jobs because I didn't want to escort no more. I was like, I'm not going to do this no more. I'm going to try to.
How long did you escort?
About a year and a half.
Didn't you hate that?
I hated it. And the sad thing of it is I had to do so much drugs at that point. I was doing any drug I could get my hand on. There's not a drug in Alabama I have not tried, because I had to be that person. I couldn't do it sober. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
So you couldn't escort without the drugs, and you couldn't do the drugs without escorting. That's a mess.
It was terrible.
Called a rock and hard place, isn't it?
It was terrible. And I just got so tired. I was so tired, bashing into
Why
it.
didn't you come back to the center?
Pride, guilt, shame, condemnation, embarrassment. I was embarrassed. And then Bastion moved back to Tennessee, and I was by myself in this bando. Ended up being a bando because I lost power, I lost water. Then I had all these homeless people still coming, staying there, and I heard God say, go to Brenda, go to Brenda. I was like, I'm not going back to that love lady, Lord. And he didn't say it. He said, just as audibly, he says, I didn't say go to love lady. I said go to Brenda. And I was like, you're going to make a way. You're going to have to make a way. So one of the homeless guys was like, hey, preacher man will take you. So I go to preacher man's house. He lied. He wasn't ever going to take me to your house. So
You were trying to get to my house.
I was trying to get to your house because that's what God said to do, was go to Brenda. He didn't tell me to. He said, I didn't tell you to go to Love Lady because I didn't want to go
So
to Love Lady.
you're hearing God audibly at this time
At this
on drugs.
Absolutely, I was. Absolutely. I heard him, Miss Brenda, even in my addiction, I heard God, and I could feel your prayers. It's just, you just have to, I guess, be in that situation to when you are doing wrong and you don't want to do it, you still got.
Oh, I've had people that did
Cried to
drugs that say they looked and saw me peeping at them through a window, and I hadn't even been there. I said, "What me?"
But yeah, I mean, it's just something that you want to get better. You want it, and then God knows that. God knew that that wasn't me, but I was so hurt. Just by life, because I hurt myself more than anybody else. I'm not going to blame anybody else for my addiction. It was me. It was stuff that I had inside of me that I never got fixed or
What
healed.
do you think it was? I know you had 2 failed relationships, but we've all had failed relationships. Yeah, foster care. You don't think it was sad?
No, ma'am.
Where's your mother and daddy?
My dad recently passed away.
Did he OD?
No, ma'am. He's my dad's not a drug addict.
When did he die?
October 17th.
Okay, so were you upset because he didn't keep you?
No, ma'am. I have no grudges against my parents. My mom is actually, she came to the program.
So your mom's an addict?
She is. She was an addict.
Well, that's not a normal way to be raised. So maybe that.
No.
It seems like you got a lot of stuff in your background, and you don't want to say anything. You want to still love those people. You can love them and say they were an addict, but you can still love them.
Yeah, but that's not the reason I fell in addiction. It was just me. I mean, when you go through life, and and I know this now as being a mother, as my own, and I didn't do right with Bastion, with taking him down through there, and I get that now. I'm paying the price of that, him being 23 years old now, and being a mom, and seeing the pain and hurt that I caused him. And so the best thing I can do now is just be that better mom to him and show him, because, he's a show me kind of kid. You talk a lot, but I need you to show me that you're a better mom. So,
He says that to you.
and he has, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And he sees that I'm a better mom now. And, we talk a lot. And I have
Is
to
he a Christian?
He is. He is.
Okay, all right. How did you get? You left the stabbing cabin. You left the hospital. You got this. You was turning escorts. Preacher man wouldn't bring you to my house. What happened?
So the last time that I OD'd is I had actually just done an escort, and I was leaving East Lake Park.
State Park.
East Lake Park.
What's the state park?
East Lake. Over there by the
East Lake Park. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. Yeah. And so
Where did you live in East Lake Park?
I stayed in a bando over there.
what?
Abandoned house over there by East Lake Park.
Kind of like squatters.
Yeah, that's
Y'all
exactly.
just go in and just make yourself at home.
Yeah, that's what he do. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So I had ended up getting some heroin, and I OD'd over there in that bando over there, and they ended up catching it on fire with me in it.
You call it a bando?
I call it a bando.
A bando.
A bando.
It's abandoned house.
It's an abandoned house. Yeah.
You got the lingo.
You learn it on
Okay,
these
so you're
streets.
staying in a bando. I'm
yeah.
going to call it a bando too.
There you go.
A what?
Abandonmenium.
Abandominium. So you're staying in a bandominium.
It's horrible. It's horrible. It was horrible, Miss Brenda. It
I'm
was
glad
horrible.
it wasn't mine, Lord.
It was
I
horrible.
don't have one.
It was horrible.
Okay, so and you felt like God was telling you to come to me.
He did. He did. He did. And at this point, and I didn't understand that to start with. I was like, why is he insistent I come to you? But
Why, Lord? I'm curious.
because it's obedience.
And
Because
so how did you get to me?
I walked from the hospital
From
from St. Vincent's.
you walked all the way to my house.
I did.
Up my long driveway.
I did.
Somebody said, somebody's coming up the driveway, Mom.
Yeah.
And what happened?
And so I finally get to your house, and as I was trying to get up the hill, I was like, Lord, you're going to have me get up this hill, because it's a long one.
I live straight up a hill.
So
People can't hardly climb it, I didn't think.
yeah, so I got the top of it, and Tasha was outside, and she's like, who goes there? And I was like, it's Rebecca. And she's like, oh, let me tell Mimi you're here. I said, yes, ma'am.
Who was it?
Tasha was outside. And so
Oh, kill her. No.
yeah. So
Don't
she,
go outside, Natasha.
So she goes to tell you, and then she takes me in the house, and you look at me and you said, Rebecca, you look like hell. I
I
said,
know you did.
I
You didn't
said,
even look like you. You look like didn't even look human. I said, "Oh my God, she's dead and risen. Something's awful going on here."
it was awful. And you said, I said, I know, Miss Brenda, these streets are rough. And you said, I know. You said, what do you want to do? I said, I don't know. I said, God was insistent that I come to you, so I figured you'd have it figured out by the time I got here. And you kind of looked at me like, what? And I said, well, I don't have a drug problem anymore. I have a people problem. And you was like, that sounds silly, doesn't it? But I knew what I was talking about. Miss Brenda, when I left that hospital, I was so sick. I was so sick at this point. And whenever I got to your house, as I was walking up your driveway, I could feel God delivering me. You just know that you know that you know that when God tells you to do something.
I do not have where I can just get you guys delivered coming up my drive. Don't try it. Go ahead.
But it is true. It is very true, because I'm still clean and sober today. And I know that I have been completely delivered from all the things that.
I believe this. I believe
Well,
this. I just
it's
don't know.
obedience to
All I
God.
know is you got in there and I was asking you questions. You said you had COVID, and I said, "Oh my God, get her out of here!
did.
She's got COVID."
You did. And you got us a mask, and then you said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, and then you called someone to come get me, and I ended up going back to Love Lady, because they had this thing called infirmary for COVID, and
We do.
that's how I got back in the center.
I don't want all y'all out there with COVID. I want to help you.
Yeah. And
Not
so-
necessarily in my house, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And we're almost out of time, and I really want to get to this part. Rebecca came back to the center, and she has not looked back. She is doing so phenomenal. It's been like pulling teeth to get her story out of her, and I can understand why. It's an ugly story. But you know what? God's got it.
Yes.
God's got it for you too. All you have to do is to give in. Now, I'm not sure we're all going to hear God audibly, but, it's not for me to question any of that. I know this woman is a true believer, and she is a delight. I always wear these funky flowers. She always makes my day brighter. I love her so much. I love her so much. Have I been tough on her? Oh, my God, so tough. So tough. But I'm real. And I have a sincere love for broken people. And Rebecca was broken in so many pieces. She was still herself, but she was broken. If you're broken, there's an easier way than trying to walk up my driveway. Just go to the front door of the center, call us. We will absolutely do what we can to help you. Rebecca, I love you so much, so very much, and I'm so glad you're here today.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm not trying to be tough on you. I just want everybody to know there's no sin too big. There's nothing that Jesus won't forgive. And he is one prayer away from helping you too. Thank you. Glad you're here today. Thank you, Rebecca.
I love you.
I love you.